Let's go!
The long wait is over, and the Switch 2, which has been rumored almost since the Switch 1 launched, is finally here. For the first time in almost 5 years, I was able to get this console at launch with no problems and no scalpers. I simply showed up to the nearest retail store at my house and asked, hey, do you have a Switch 2? And they said yes, I bought it, and this is me at home with my new console getting ready to unbox it for the first time. And I thought I'd do a quick video showing you my experience unboxing the system, getting it set up, and playing my first games. With that said, let's go ahead and start tearing this box open. As soon as I open up the box, I am greeted with the tablet and 2 Joy-Cons. Getting the tablet out of the box and trying very carefully not to drop it like I almost did here, I can tell you there's something about that new game console smell that just gets to me. I remember seeing a bunch of warnings from Nintendo and other sources about not to peel off the protective film covering the screen, but that's not even something that would occur to me if I hadn't heard about it beforehand, because it blends in with the screen pretty well in my opinion. Just like my original Switch, the Joy-Cons are color-coded, so it should be unmistakable on which side each of these go. Probably the biggest change that I am a fan of on this system is the kickstand going across the entire back of the console instead of the little peg leg that I had coming out of the original Switch. This seems much more durable and less flimsy. I can also now see the spot to plug in a new micro SD card, which I don't have. There's 256 gigs of storage in this, so I don't think I'm going to need that anytime soon. I also noticed the USB-C on the bottom and the top, another welcome upgrade from the Switch. Getting my hands on these Joy-Cons finally, I can say they feel slightly different from the original Switch, although I can't really put my finger on how. One thing I will tell you is that the Joy-Cons feel much more smooth, if that makes sense. Only time will tell if these will be plagued with the same drifting issue as the original Joy-Cons. But to be honest, I don't really use the original Joy-Cons too much, as I prefer the Switch Pro controller. They did have a Switch 2 Pro controller there in the store, but I decided against it as I was already maxed out on how much I wanted to spend by buying the console. Underneath all that is an HDMI cable. Very glad they included one that's 4K. And underneath that, you will see the new top attachments for the Joy-Cons, which I thought looked a bit strange at first, until I remembered that these are also intended to duplicate as mice. So instead of giving the top of the controller a rounded feel, these will give it a flat edge for you to carefully glide it across a flat surface. I actually haven't tried that yet because I don't have a game where I feel like it requires it, but I will try that in the near future. I am amazed at how many electronics do not come with these wall wart plugs anymore, but it's definitely welcome to make sure I'm getting the right kind of power to my Switch 2, as well as a USB-C cable to plug into it on both sides. Next to those are the Joy-Con controller attachment, and I gotta say, I like this much better than sliding in the Joy-Cons to the original. I knew from the get-go that I was going to enjoy being able to snap them in rather than slide them in, because I always had just a little bit of difficulty trying to get them in every time on the first try. And this is also where I first noticed how to properly eject the Joy-Con from when they snap in. This is also much improved from the original Switch, again in my opinion. All put together, this thing looks like a piece of toast, and if that looks like a piece of toast, here's the toaster. The dock is a bit revised and has a more rounded back, which to me reminds me of an old school style toaster, but that's maybe just me. And now instead of a door swinging off the back, the entire back comes out for you to put in the HDMI cable, power adapter, and even a nice fresh Ethernet jack, so I can get rid of my adapter I'm using on my current Switch. And that's pretty much it. Now that I got everything put back in the box that I don't need, I'm going to go ahead and get this powered on and see what the setup process looks like. And yep, just like most tablets and modern electronics, you do need to plug it into power first before it'll power on the first time. Then just be a little bit more patient than I was, and the screen should pop up with the Switch 2 logo. The steps to set this up are pretty self-explanatory, especially if you've set up an original Switch. Once you get connected to a network, it will ask you if you want to transfer from an original console, but I went ahead and just said to set this up as a new system. It did have me detach the Joy-Cons and use it in tablet mode, and then it wanted me to connect to a TV, but for now I went ahead and skipped that part, so I can go ahead and finish the system update so I can start playing some games. I did sign in with my Nintendo account, and now I should be good to go. The first place the system took me to was the Nintendo Switch Online menu, so I ended up downloading the Nintendo GameCube section first, but from what the box told me, it should have taken me to a screen to download the new Mario Kart, but it did take a little bit after a system update for it to show up. Once Mario Kart World was installed, I went ahead and booted up the game. What you're seeing now is actually my second time booting the game since I didn't think to capture it the first time. And I will note that even though I have the display settings set for 4K on the Switch 2, my capture card can only capture at 1080. But take my word for it, this game looks great on my TV. The first thing I did was go ahead and click on Free Roam, which allowed me to go ahead and just explore around the map and see what some of the tracks look like and the spaces in between. The only thing I've discovered so far is you can hit these P switches in order to unlock certain challenges. The first challenge I unlocked had me collect a number of coins in a short amount of time, and this one had me follow a predefined path, which took me a few times, but I was able to get both pretty easily. I also went ahead and started up Classic Grand Prix mode and was happy to see that you don't have to drive between each of the tracks every time you want to go between races. But overall, I just started playing this game within a few hours of making this video, so I don't have any overall conclusions to make about this game yet, except it is Mario Kart and it is fun, and so far I am enjoying it. Some of the immediate differences that I've noticed is that you can collect more than 10 coins, you can grind on rails such as railroad tracks or the edges of a track, and the feather makes a return so you can jump on higher platforms and maybe take alternative routes. Some similarities is that the blue shell gets thrown a bit too often when you're in first place, as well as the lightning bolt, which also happens a lot when you're winning, but I'm sure more will be revealed about this game as players get a chance to go through it. Something else I noticed because I am an expansion pack member on Nintendo Switch Online is not only was I able to get the GameCube games, but I was also able to get the free upgrades for both Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I believe if you already own these games on card, you would have to pay $10 each to upgrade from those, or you could shell out another full purchase price to buy just the Switch 2 versions of these games. I will say if these upgrades had not been included in my subscription, I would not have gotten them this early as I wanted to focus more on new experiences on this system. But these upgrades definitely offer a much smoother and higher res experience than I'm used to on the original Switch. Again, this is just my initial impression, so I'm not really giving a full review of this, but I decided to go ahead and take a look at some of the footage from Tears of the Kingdom that I captured when I first bought this game on the Switch 1, and compare it with some of the footage from the Switch 2. Some of the things I noticed right off the bat is that it is definitely a much smoother frame rate. The Switch 1 really seemed to struggle at times trying to play through the Tears of the Kingdom game originally, and everything just seemed so buttery smooth. I wasn't really aware of the graphical fidelity or the upscaling detail, but again, I was viewing this in 4K for the first time on my TV, and you're seeing it downscaled again at 1080 here. Somebody in the comments will have to let me know what the original resolution was, because I couldn't really remember off the top of my head. Overall, it has been a couple of years since I popped this game in, and I would actually not be opposed to playing through this again. However, it's also been even longer since I played through Breath of the Wild, so maybe a playthrough of that would be prudent before I play through Tears of the Kingdom again. But I'll probably get through Mario Kart first. Alright, one more thing to check out before I let you go is the Nintendo GameCube app. The initial selection of just 3 games is, I guess, enough to get it off the ground, but they should definitely fill out this library with some more titles as soon as possible. And I'm just now realizing in perspective that this is the latest F-Zero game, I guess other than F-Zero 99, which I guess you can also play on here. So if you haven't played this title, I would definitely recommend it. I was a huge fan of F-Zero back in the day, and I think the GameCube edition is the pinnacle of the series so far, and I'd really like to see another entry made, and hopefully maybe this will spark interest in it. The last time I played Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker was the HD version on the Wii U. And even though this is just an initial impression, the fact that it's in 4:3 ratio already feels like a step back from that game. But some positives this thing has going for it is the frame rate seems smooth, and the graphics are upscaled very nicely. The game looks beautiful in 4K. And overall, I didn't see any glitches or something wrong with the emulation throughout it, so I think this is a pretty good experience. Still, I can't help but wonder why there's not an HD version available for the Switch by now. I mean, maybe it's something that's coming later, but if I play through this all the way through on the GameCube, I'm going to be less motivated to pick up the main title if they re-release it for the Switch too. Just my 2 cents as we're getting through it. And the last title available at launch is one of my favorite fighting games of all time, Soul Calibur II. And of course, as this is the GameCube edition, I had to play as Link, and again, this game performs quite well. I didn't notice anything with input lag, and I feel like this is a game that would really showcase that, as you have to be pretty precise with some of your hits and moves. This is also where I'll note that each of the games I've been playing has been with my original Switch 1 Pro controller. It has worked on every game I've tried so far. And because I have some capture footage of the original GameCube version, I thought I'd do a side-by-side comparison. I will note that this is coming out of a Wii with component cables, but it's also going into a RetroTink 5X upscaler, so I don't think it's going to get any better coming from the original version. Still, the Switch 2 does power through it and presents a superior experience graphics-wise, and I feel like this is going to be more convenient than people going back and trying to find the GameCube version, a Wii with component cables, and having a retro upscaler. So there you have it, that is my initial impression of the Switch 2. Let me know in the comments if you have picked any of these up and what other games I should grab, because right now the only Switch 2 title I have is Mario Kart World. And keep in mind that I am not a fan of buying these digital key cards that they're pushing out there. I only want the game if it's on the card. Otherwise, I can just grab it online. If you did like this video, I'd appreciate leaving a thumbs up on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one. If you like this video and you'd like to help out with future projects on this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. A special thanks to those Patreons you see on screen. Also, if you like what you see, please remember to leave a like and click that subscribe button on your way out. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.